In this video, we'll be going over Gay-Lussac's law, which states that the pressure of the gas and the temperature of the gas in degrees Kelvin are directly proportional. That just means that they move in the same direction. So that means if the temperature were to increase, then the pressure of the gas will increase. And if the temperature of the gas decreases, the pressure of the gas will decrease. So they move in the same direction. The equation that's associated with Gay-Lussac's law is pressure 1 divided by temperature 1, again in degrees Kelvin, equals pressure 2 divided by temperature 2. And the graph for this looks like this. You have pressure typically on the y-axis, temperature in degrees Kelvin on the x-axis, and since they're directly proportional, it will just be linearly related that as the temperature increases, the pressure increases. And why does this happen? Well, let's see. As as the temperature increases, what does that do? That causes the gas molecules, to move faster. And if they are moving faster, then two things are going to happen. The gas molecules, they will collide with the walls of the container more, and also will collide with the walls of the container harder. So not only are they hitting the walls more often, they're going to hit the walls harder, and that will cause the pressure to increase because the pressure is due to the collision of gas molecules against the wall. So more collisions, more forceful collisions, going to lead to a larger amount of pressure. Okay, now let's see how we can apply this in a problem. So this problem reads, it really should read a sample of nitrogen inside a rigid metal container at 20 degrees Celsius. So we have a temperature, we'll call that temperature 1, is placed inside oven whose temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. So that's temperature 2. The pressure of the gas inside the container at 20 degrees Celsius is 3 atm. So we'll call this pressure 1 because that's the pressure that's associated with the original temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. And is asking, what is the pressure after the temperature increases to 50 degrees Celsius? So we know we have a Gay-Lussac's problem here because we have a change in temperature and a change in pressure. We have P1, P2, T1, T2. So we're going to use that equation. The P1 is the original pressure of 3 atm. Then the T1, that's in degrees Celsius. We got to convert that to degrees Kelvin. And to convert to degrees Kelvin, we just add 273 to 20. So it'll give us 293 degrees Kelvin. Again, we'll just add 273 to the degrees Celsius to get it into Kelvin. That's going to equal P2. Well, we're solving for that because it's asking us what's the final pressure. And then the final temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. And we're going to add 273 to that to get to degrees Kelvin. And then to isolate P2, all we have to do is just move it over to the top right here. Essentially what we're doing is we're multiplying by 323 degrees Kelvin on both sides. And by doing that, it cancels out. So that means that P2 is going to equal that temperature times 323 times 3 divided by 293. And then look at this, the degrees Kelvin cancel out, and then you are left with 3.31 atm is the final pressure. Let's see if that makes sense. The temperature increased from 20 to 50, so we do expect the pressure to increase because the pressure and temperature are directly proportional. And the pressure did increase. It went from 3 to 3.31. Next question. A gas has a pressure of 0.37 atm at 50 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature if the pressure was decreased to 0.215 degrees Celsius? So again, we're dealing with a pressure and temperature type of problem. So this is using Gay-Lussac's equation. This is the original pressure, P1. This is the original temperature. And then we're asked for the final temperature, and we're given the final pressure. Just off the bat, our pressure is decreased, so that means we would expect our temperature to be decreased. Our final temperature should be less than 50 degrees Celsius. So let's set it up. P1 is 0.37 atm. T1 is 50 degrees Celsius. Then we have to add 273 to get down to degrees Kelvin. So that'd be 200 or 323 degrees Kelvin equals P2 is the final pressure, 0.215 atm. And then T2, we don't know what that is. So we're going to leave it like that. Whenever you have an unknown on the bottom, what you're going to do is you'll first cross multiply. So we're going to multiply, we're going to bring these two together and then these two together. So then that will give us 0.370 atm times T2 equals 0.215 atm times 323 degrees Kelvin. Then to isolate the T2, we're just going to divide both sides by the 0.37 atm, and that will get rid of the atm. So that means T2 is going to equal 0.215 atm times 323 divided by 0.37 atm, and that will give us 187 or 188 degrees degrees Kelvin, because the ATMs will cancel out, or left with just degrees Kelvin. Well, our original temperature was in degrees Celsius, so why don't we just convert this to degrees Celsius to compare? To convert degrees Kelvin into degrees Celsius, you just subtract 273. That gives you negative 85.3 degrees Celsius. So as we predicted, the temperature did decrease. It went from 50 degrees Celsius to negative 85.3 degrees Celsius. So here, a decrease in pressure led to a decrease in temperature. And one final question. A gas has a pressure of 725 millimeters of mercury at 70 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature if the pressure was increased to 1.43 degrees Celsius? Here we have a similar situation. We have the original pressure, we have the original temperature. They're asking us for the final temperature, and then they give us the final pressure. So once again, it's going to be Gay-Lussac's law. Since the pressure increased, it tells us that the pressure increased, then we expect that the temperature should increase. The issue here is that our pressures are in different units. Pressure 1 is in millimeters of mercury, and pressure 2 is in ATM. So when you're doing Gay-Lussac's law, you want to make sure that the two pressures, P1 and P2, are in the same unit. So here, why don't we do this in ATM? Why don't we convert the millimeters of mercury into ATM? So let's start by doing that. We'll take 725 millimeters of mercury, convert that to ATM. In every one ATM, there's 760 millimeters of mercury. If this is a little foreign to you, just check out my pressure conversion video and then come back to this. It'll make some more sense. That comes out to be 0.954 ATM. And that's our P1. So now we have our P1. We can set it up. 0.954 ATM divided by temperature 1. Once again, add 273 to get to this to get to Kelvin. (343 degrees Kelvin) equals P2, which is 1.43 ATM, and then T2 is what we're trying to solve for. Since our variable is on the bottom, we're going to cross multiply. Or a shortcut that we can use is, well, actually, let's just cross multiply. I think it'll be easier to understand. 0.954 ATM times T2 equals 1.43 ATM times 343 degrees Kelvin. Then we want to move this over to the bottom, so we'll divide by 0.954 ATM on both sides, and by doing that, we can get rid of this, so we're just left with T2, and then T2 comes out to be 514 degrees Kelvin, because the ATMs cancel out. So you can see that the temperature did increase. It went from 343 to 514. And that's it for Gay-Lussac's law. Main points, remember that temperature and pressure in Kelvin are directly proportional. Use this equation, make sure this is always in Kelvin, make sure the units of pressure are the same, and this is how the graph looks like, a linear relationship going upwards. If you want to learn how to ace chemistry, if you want to learn what's the best way to study for this class, if you want to learn some neat tricks and tips to take into your exam and do better on them, then you should head over to my website and get this free guide, 12 Secrets to Acing Chemistry. You can head over to www.conquerchemistry.com/chemsecrets. I'm going to include a link in the description below. Check it out. I think it's really going to help you, and you're gonna like it. Until next time, keep working hard and continue the good work.